Welcome to Doom Scroll Patrol, the show where we doom scroll so you don't have to. Today we are talking about Zohran Mamdani's victory in New York City. We're also talking about the late, great Dick Cheney, and of course Elon becoming the first trillionaire, maybe. And an upcoming climate conference is got a dirty little secret. This is, I gotta say, probably the most disgusting episode we've ever made. So I'm Aaron Hagee McKay.
I'm Harold Moss.
I'm Anna Snape.
I'm Sam Perez.
Joe, go get your barf bucket. You're not going to want to miss it.
It's my fault.
Must prepare yourselves for the worst.
What are we getting
what
into?
a week. Did anything happen this week?
Nothing.
Obviously, we want to start by saying rest in peace, Dick Cheney.
There was an old Saturday Night Live bit on the news. This was back in the 70s and 80s, which is Generalissimo Franco is still dead, where they would do that over and over again. I feel like I want to do that for Dick Cheney now. Dick Cheney dying, there should be no guilt in celebrating this bloodthirsty, torturous, horrific monster who, though he came out and everyone likes to say he was brave in opposing Trump, laid the basis for Trump on so many levels from the 1970s on. The unitary, royal power of the president, the unitary power of the president, all of the stuff, the torturing, the breaking through norms, the giving fossil fuel interests the keys to the government.
Was he involved in the fossil fuel industry as a executive of the fossil fuel industry? Was he involved in that?
Was he involved in that? Yeah, Halliburton just looting, the pillaging, the hundreds of thousands, or maybe over 1 million people dead from the lies of the Iraq War.
I do have something to ask Hannah. Hannah, do you know a lot about Dick Cheney?
Nope. Heard the name. Don't know much about him. I was gonna say maybe we should do a quick overview. I know he's a Republican, maybe.
So for the Gen Z out there, or the people who are just blissfully, like 9/11 is just like a thing in history for you. Dick Cheney was the vice president during the George W. Bush years, who was very, there's this saying, I think I got it probably from a TV show, where it's like a vice president is either a doormat or a matador. He was very much a matador, where he's like wielding the power that he has to sort of get his way. Like there was a whole like joke at the time of him being the real president.
Well, he was in charge of finding the vice president for W and picked himself and then ran the White House. I mean, W is not as stupid as he seems, but he's also not that much smarter than he seems.
Right.
And Cheney is genuinely an evil genius.
He is one of those like dark triad, but also very intelligent. And that story comes from a book called The Angler. And that was what the Cheney movie that Adam McKay directed was based on. Yeah. And yes, the whole like he was like, okay, you're part of the transition team. Find it, or like you're part of the campaign team. Find us a vice president. And he got a whole bunch of compromat on a whole bunch of people within the administration who wanted the job. And then he's like, it's gonna be me. And then all of the people who like gave him all of their dirty secrets were now just under this guy's thumb. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the kind of MO this guy.
Also, he shot his security guard in the face while on a hunting trip, and then like the guard ended up like apologizing.
Well, it wasn't a guard. It was
sorry
like
for being in the way of your gun.
That was basically he had to come out and say sorry, my face caught the pellets from your gun.
Yeah, Secret Service, right?
Was that he was like a friend of his.
He was like a banker.
I thought it was like a
he was a
he was some guy. I mean, he was like another one of the like one of the
war
ruling class folks.
Yeah, I mean, but Cheney was large. I mean, he was part of the whole neoconservative movement. Started under Nixon, stayed in power in office and in administrations, and really laid the basis of so much that was horrible today. He's basically of the authoritarianism, untrammeled fossil fuel control of everything, slaughter lots of brown people around the world because you want to get access to their resources, but do it with a certain level of decorum, right? That's basically the Cheney motto. So Trump
he's
was.
the civilized one.
If you can't tell Hannah, he's not a good guy.
Yeah, he
but
sounds
I
like
think
kind
that
of
this
a
is such a sign of the
silly
moment we
goose.
are in, and we're going to get to some good news.
Silly
Wait,
goose.
can I
that
just-
was good news.
I mean, I don't know if this is a rage clip or whatever. Maybe we cut this, but I found there was this clip that was kind of going around of Dick Cheney, like in 1994, being asked about like should we have like gone after the first, I guess, Iraq War, after Iraq invaded Kuwait, etc. Should we have gone in and killed Saddam? And this was his reaction. If you want to watch it.
Do you think that the U.S. or UN forces should have moved into Baghdad?
No.
Why not?
Because if we'd gone to Baghdad, we would have been all alone. There wouldn't have been anybody else with us. It would have been a U.S. occupation of Iraq. None of the Arab forces that were willing to fight with us in Kuwait were willing to invade Iraq. Once you got to Iraq and took it over and took down Saddam Hussein's government, then what are you going to put in its place? That's a very volatile part of the world, and if you take down the central government in Iraq, you can easily end up seeing pieces of Iraq fly off. Part of it the Syrians would like to have to the west. Part of eastern Iraq the Iranians would like to claim, fought over for 8 years. In the north, you've got the Kurds, and if the Kurds spin loose and join with the Kurds in Turkey, then you threaten the territorial integrity of Turkey. It's a quagmire if you go that far and try to take over Iraq. The other thing was casualties. Everyone was impressed with the fact that we were able to do our job with as few casualties as we had. But for the 146 Americans killed in action and for their families, it wasn't a cheap war. And the question for the president, in terms of whether or not we went on to Baghdad and took additional casualties in an effort to get Saddam Hussein, was how many additional dead Americans is Saddam worth? And our judgment was not very many, and I think we got it right.
If only someone had a time machine to let Dick Cheney from the past know about his younger self to his then past future self, could have warned him about the mistake that he avoided to do. I don't know.
Well, but this was
It's a convoluted way of saying what the fuck.
But this was this was always the plan. They wanted to build up, and they wanted to remember there was the axis of evil, which was North Korea, Iraq, and Iran, is what they called it, and they wanted to overthrow all three of them, and that was their plan. And when they went back into Iraq because of 9/11, which of course Iraq had nothing to do with, and a complete lie, and there was no nukes in Iraq, all of that.
No,
but
even
because of
chemical
9/11,
weapons, really.
he was actually able to build a coalition of the willing, so they didn't go in alone. But that was supposed to be the beginning of overthrowing all the governments that they didn't like that had oil.
But yeah, that's the weird thing where it's like they got into Iraq. We're like, oh shit, this is really, really fucking hard. We should have listened to Dick Cheney from 1994. But like everyone at the time was like, this is obviously about oil. This is so obviously about oil. And it's interesting to know out of historical context that like fracking really hadn't taken off yet.
Yeah.
The fracking boom hadn't happened. It was like still a very nascent technology. No one really knew what it was. And if fracking had been built or like scaled up a little bit earlier, Iraq probably wouldn't have been invaded. If the theory is that it was all about oil anyway, because they didn't end up taking the oil because fracking took off and they're like, oh, I guess we don't need all of these foreign sources of oil. That's like a theory that's out there.
So
A million dead Iraqis, everybody.
A million
Rest
dead
in piss.
Iraqis. But
Rest in
let's
piss.
also, rest in piss. But this is also such a clear sign of the failure of the Democratic Party in the United States, because what has been and the high stakes the world has between an insurgent progressive movement inside the Democratic Party, which we'll get to some of the victories there, Mamdani, and the establishment Democrats who came out and praised Cheney, like Nancy Pelosi and Schumer. These people, they could have just said nothing. Just said nothing. If you don't want to be putting yourself out by saying rest in
Didn't
peace,
Kamala try to get his endorsement? Like,
No,
Yeah.
she didn't need to try. She got it.
she got
okay.
it. But they were also on his death.
fucking
People like
showed up.
Pelosi.
He showed up at the DNC, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
There's footage. It's in 4K.
Well, but also if
Interesting.
Obama had actually done tried to take on income inequality and genuinely bring health care for all in this country, there wouldn't be a Trump. If the Democratic establishment was not completely run by rich donors and did more than incremental stuff while letting the fundamental problems get worse and worse, there wouldn't be a Trump. And this is what we saw. So the good news is, I mean, I've been saying this for a while, that I thought that Trump was actually past his peak and was going towards lame duck. And I think that we just had an election in the U.S. and it was massive overperformance by Democrats. Latinos who had come out strongly and shifted towards Trump shifted all the way back again. And a lot of that was... I
wonder why.
Well, I mean, a lot of that was because, it was cost of living and like people...
Oh, no, I wonder why they shifted back. Is it something about
No, I mean, it's
neighborhoods and rounding up people indiscriminately?
Well, and also prices going up and jobs going down.
I'd also like to say this about Latinos. White Cubans, weakest link in the Latino chain, as always, continually showing their ass, making it worse for everyone else.
But it's not just that. It was that people are
no, Harold, we're going to blame Cubans.
Well, I mean, that's fair. Always, that's fair. But
it always comes back to Reagan, letting in the fucking Cubans.
Yeah.
But it's that people are looking for some effing solution to not being able to afford your groceries and your rent and your health care. And the Democrats completely failed to do that. They did incremental stuff, but didn't address the root of it. So when someone comes and says, I will fix this, it's like, okay, well, let's give it a try, because these guys aren't fixing it. They give it a try, it's all worse.
Yeah, I would say Trump is 100% on the Democrats, or like the liberal centrists, like the whole rise, the authoritarian right,
collaborative process of.
Well, it's not just a collaborative process where it's just like a weird acquiescence of just like, well, and then there's like the people on the right, the business community who just kind of like, well, we can control this guy, and they never fucking can.
No.
And so there is like, and the proof, not the proof, but like great evidence in the Mamdani campaign where it's just like Trump is literally endorsing Cuomo. Yeah. And people are like, oh, yeah, there is kind of a bipartisan consensus on like, well, we're maybe okay with fascism, but we certainly are not okay with any sort of like anything that has a whiff of socialism to it.
Well, anything that has a whiff of reversing the catastrophic income disparity.
The pump of like wealth from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they're, and that's because and that's why Schumer didn't vote for Mamdani. Chuck Schumer, the head of the Democratic Senate, said he obviously voted for Cuomo because he wouldn't say who he voted for. Like this is it's just absurd. So they come out and they praise Cheney. They won't vote for where all of the energy and the excitement is.
You guys are dumb.
I can't find the clip, but I did watch a clip of I think the 2020 elections when Trump was campaigning in New York, and he was like, if you want a New Yorker as a president, I'm your guy. And he just kept saying that, and then it was like he got like 17% of the vote in New York, and it was just,
with New Yorkers, we knew who this guy was all along. We knew who this guy was.
Well, that's the thing. It's just like he's definitely a creature of New York, but he's always been, and that's maybe where his like villain origin story comes from. Is that like fucking New Yorkers think this guy's a fucking joke? Like,
well, and the fancy folks in Manhattan always thought he was a joke. That was part of his original butthurtness was a dad who didn't love him, and probably a mom who didn't love him, and he's truly unlovable. But then it was the fancy people in Manhattan.
I'm not going to blame a child for child abuse, but but to be honest, he was probably a hateful child. Just given everything. No, like obviously he's a sociopath or whatever, like a narcissist because of neglect and all that stuff.
But we've got a real. But then the good news is, so Democratic overperformance across the board, massive swing, likely to be a huge blue wave next year.
Oh, it's so cute. You think you guys are going to have a fair election next
year?
Well,
it's
so cute.
No, well, see, I don't actually. I hate. Honestly,
adorable to watch this.
I hate. Oh my God. I know you're being a bit jokey, but I hate that because there's definitely a thread of, oh, we're not even going to ever have a fair election again, which is just like so fucking defeatist.
Oh, I don't want to say people don't go out and vote because you never know.
But the fact is thing about whether we're going to have fair elections or not. So first of all, obviously, Project 25, Trump and all this they've been attempting to dismantle whatever functions of American democracy there are to be able to have a permanent hold on power. That was the idea. But it's a lot easier to consolidate authoritarianism when you're popular. Trump is historically unpopular. the election yesterday showed that people don't like this guy. You don't see Trump signs anymore. There's his numbers are incredibly underwater on everything, including his signature stuff like immigration and the economy and inflation. And it's harder to do. The other side is that Trump, while he loves the idea of power, is really, it's a smash and grab loot fest. And that's really he's up at the front of it. And that's what they're doing, is they're just stealing everything, billions. They're just stealing data. They're stealing everything. And a lot of them know that they're probably not going to hold on to power. So I think what we're likely to see next year is actually the Democrats take the House by a large amount, and that'll make him a fully formal lame duck. I think you're already seeing Republicans start to distance, and I think he's going to get less powerful. Now, that's not a given. And
well, did you see what Steve Bannon said?
Steve Bannon said if we lose, a bunch of us are going to jail, including me.
He's like, if we don't take this by 2028, like he's like, we're all, including me, going to jail.
Which is an interesting way of saying I'm a fucking criminal and broke the law a whole bunch. And I don't know, maybe he would spin it and say that like they're just going to make up crimes or whatever. But you know, he was going to go to jail and then he got a pardon.
Okay, all right, so
the problem is that if the same Democrats get into power and do the same thing as they're doing, what we're going to see is this vacillation as the world burns, as food systems collapse, as coastal cities are lost, as homes become uninsurable, as things get worse and worse and worse, right? Which is what's coming. If political parties and political power doesn't actually do anything to address the problems, we're just going to see this swing back and forth between milquetoast tinkering around, trying to make things a little bit better and well run, while everything gets worse and the fossil fuel interests continue to control it and the money continues to go up. And then it'll be a swing back to the right, who will do more and more destruction. And that's what the swing is. So if we don't start getting genuine political change, if we don't start getting actual challenges to the fossil fuel capitalism and the wealth inequality and all of the problems that are underlying things globally, it's just going to swing back and forth, and they'll destroy it. The Democrats will come in this country. It'll be the same other places. Labor, you see the same thing in Britain. Fix a little bit, then they'll come in and destroy more. They'll come in and fix it a little bit, and then until finally you've got some kind of fascism that you can't get your way out of. So that's the urgency of coming up with real political solutions.
So we should do something.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, Mamdani kicked ass and won in New York. And you know who's heading his transition team? All-female transition team, by the way, is Lena Khan, who was the
isn't she like the boogeyman to rich people?
Yeah, she was part of the Federal Trade Commission from 21 to 25.
She ran the FTC, and she's very much like an anti-monopoly, like let's go after and break up big companies, and almost did it with like Google and shit until like things transitioned away from that, like so close.
And
super smart, fucking
super smart. I've gotten to see
genius,
her now.
Fucking.
I actually filmed her and Cory Doctorow twice now, presenting together, and she's just
so fancy.
Well, I mean, I was just the guy with the camera. It wasn't like I was up on a panel. Then smarter than that. She's really brilliant. And she is like the real deal of real political solutions, like genuinely taking on
super granular policy level too.
Yep.
Just like and understands the whole history of it. Just a force.
So we've got, and this is also, it raises up huge. So this isn't a massive win, a huge beacon of hope of a genuine left politics that is hopeful, that is joyful, but is solutions oriented and understands the scale of the problem. But Mamdani is also going to run into the brick wall, which is the question of political, of change by election, which is we live inside capitalism. They threw tens of millions of dollars trying to stop him. Bloomberg, another serial sexual harasser, threw millions trying to get Andrew Cuomo, serial sexual harasser, in power, so they didn't go after their wealth. But they're going to try and do everything they can to stop him from the biggest threat to capitalism is how easy it is to solve the problems of capitalism if only we were allowed to do it. That's the biggest threat. That's what they have to hide, is that all of the problems we're facing could be solved quite easily And so they will do everything they can to stop it. Our biggest hope is Mamdani is a movement politician, that he doesn't do what Obama did, which is Obama came in a wave of enthusiasm and a movement. And then he was like, all right, you all go home. We're shutting down every grassroots thing. It's all done. Now we're going into Washington to do it as we do it. Hopefully Mamdani is the beginning of politics where you actually keep the people engaged and actually use them to enforce change. Because these guys are going to try and cut him off at the knees. They're doing it right now. In Wall Street boardrooms everywhere, all the billionaires are trying to figure out how they can stop Mamdani from making life better for people in New York. That's job number one. Because if he starts making life better for people in New York, people will be like, why don't we just make life better?
Yeah, if you can do it in like the heart of capitalism, you can do it anywhere.
Toughed it out so I could have it good.
She has possibly disinformation, breaking disinformation.
It might be disinformation. I haven't found any articles about it yet. There's just a TikTok someone posted yesterday saying that someone attempted to assassinate Mamdani.
Oh,
Well, wasn't there like a car that blew up in New York or something?
No, that's a different one. This is someone shot at him.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, two shots.
I think
range.
that's disinformation.
It could be totally fake.
I think that's totally fake.
It is a little bit telling that
Hannah's just on Facebook looking at boomer shit.
Hannah's the most boomer of us all with her TikTok disinformation.
This woman fell through a glass bridge and then was shooting at Mamdani.
Yeah, it could happen. You don't know.
But this is
just wait. If in 2 days there's reports about it, then I was right.
I think you are wrong about that.
But I think a lot of people are genuinely concerned that he's going to be assassinated.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
It is kind of like that has legs for a reason because everyone's like, oh well, he's pissed a lot of powerful people off by just winning. Surely someone's going to try to kill him.
Well, and also they're everyone who's Democrat and Republican alike who's come out and said he's a jihadist communist who's going to destroy the city.
Those things are different things.
It's the stochastic terrorism. You don't even need to send out a killer. You just try and rile up the angry armed white Americans and get one of them to go after him.
You hate Arabs, right? Yeah. You also hate communists, right? Oh yeah. Well, this guy's both. Oh, fucking hell! Like,
shit.
That's the not accidental.
Well, it's like,
thing.
yeah, man. If they're gonna shoot white boy Charlie Kirk, like, yeah, of course they're gonna go after Mamdani.
I mean, that is so fishy. I'm not going to get into whatever the various conspiracies.
The Charlie Kirk thing.
The whole Charlie Kirk.
Oh my
thing
God,
is so
Harold,
fishy.
you are going down a conspiracy rabbit hole today. First, you think the Jews control everything.
Excuse me. I think I can comfortably say I've never said an anti-Semitic thing in my life.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I got Jewish friends in New York, and they're just like, I'm canvassing for him. Like, what he does is not. He's obviously not anti-Semitic.
Oh, he's clearly not.
He's just obviously not.
It's just like.
Hey, but Michael Rappaport told me he was. So I trust that guy.
Who the fuck is this guy? He shows up in my feed. I'm like, who the fuck is he?
He was an indie actor who was pretty good, and then
he was a good actor and went insane.
And then went insane, and is also just on a Zionist payroll, right? He's just a Zionist influencer now. It's just because he stopped getting acting gigs, I think, because he was.
Well, he was in the last thing he was in that was pretty big was that series on Netflix, Atypical, where he's the dad of the autistic kid, and he's so good in it, and it's crazy because like. You watch that and you're like, he's such in that movie, his role, he's such a sweet, caring dad. And then you look at his social and he's like, we got to kill all the Arabs. And it's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Turns out he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
He's a great actor. And
turns out he's just a really good actor.
He is a bad guy.
I don't know if this is happening to you guys also, but my algorithm has been infiltrated recently with horse sheath cleaning videos. Does anyone know what that is?
Like horse sheath, like their dicks. Right?
Yeah, you
like
gotta clean their dicks. Yeah, well, apparently, not like
No.
not videos of the actual act happening, just of what they find in there.
Oh no! What? Okay, I do not want to know what your search history is that told the algorithm.
I did.
So okay,
I watched one video.
The closest I've gotten is like horse farrier.
Oh, that shit's good.
Oh, that's really satisfying.
Yeah.
Was just like it's like
Where
the
they-
hoof is like, oh, this poor horse has an injured hoof. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go repair it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's really satisfying.
Or like ripping off their chestnuts and feeding them to dogs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fun too.
Yeah, that's good shit. The chestnuts
Chestnuts
are
from
the
the
little
hooves.
things
From the-
on the.
from the
oh, I'm
hooves,
like,
Aaron.
I'm like, I hope
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
like-
a horrible.
No, it's like a little
no.
tag
It's like
on
a
their
burr.
back legs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
but
a
anyways,
useless-
apparently, if horses don't have testicles and they can't do spicy business,
Jizz.
they can't jizz it up. Then the schmegma just builds, and it's just
Yeah.
like a hard ball.
Yeah. You gotta
It's
like
stuck
clean
in
it out.
Okay. So
Anyway,
moving
sorry.
on.
Please stop.
Can we talk about how Elon Musk is about to become the first trillionaire? Maybe.
No, he's not allowed.
I'd rather talk about horse smegma.
Didn't he offer like
a horse
flight
for a hand
attendant
job.
or something? Yeah.
Oh.
So
yeah.
that's the connection.
That's
There,
the
yeah.
connection.
Yeah, because didn't he say like,
If
hey,
you-
if you
if you-
jerk him off and he'll give you like a nice horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take him up on that, honestly.
Kind of fucking like pastoral tribal society shit is that?
I want a pony.
Well, just go jerk off.
I take it back. I don't want to do that. I'd rather not have a pony. Have you
yeah,
seen
my-
any clips of
My kingdom for a horse.
yeah, I've seen a couple clips of Teslas with like Grok in them now, like the ones you get AI with.
Oh.
In Canada, at least. I don't know if it's in America, but Grok has been just very
very naughty.
unhinged, very naughty,
Very naughty.
saying way
What is
too
it?
spicy things. He asked a child for nudes.
What?
Oh, I saw that video.
Well,
I
that's
saw that
you know,
video.
this is the whole thing is because Elon Musk keeps every time you have a because large language models are just scraped data, and if they scrape the data, it's going to have some relationship to the truth, and fascists don't like the truth, so he keeps trying to make Grok less woke by breaking it, and so that's
Is it
where
Grok or Grok?
Grok.
Grok.
Okay.
No, I
I
said
said Grok.
no, I said
But you
broke. Less woke. Trying to make
Oh,
Grok less woke.
okay.
And that's where the Mecha Hitler Grok came out. But it's just that and now they've done the Grokopedia, which is basically they scraped Wikipedia and then added far right
and then added 4chan.
and then added 4chan where they cared. I mean, it's the whole thing. And this is so. I mean, as bad as large language models are, that they hallucinate, that they're not accurate, that they start feeding on themselves, that they definitely don't think. Grok is like the worst possible case because you take all the problems with large language models, and then you have a boneheaded Nazi literally going in and fiddling with it to give him the answer, give it the answers that he's hoping it gives, like immigrants are the problem. You know, even Joe Rogan had Musk on. I saw a thing where he was like going back to Mamdani, where he was like saying that, talking shit about Mamdani, and the only thing he was like, yeah, I know he used some fake accents, which is it's called code switching people. When you live in different communities, sometimes
Mamdani did?
Mamdani did. When he's with his homies, he might pick up more of a Ugandan accent. That's what.
Yeah, I do that. Like when I see my Navajo friends, like if I go back to the res and stuff, my Navajo accent slips in. Like this is like not my real voice.
This is what they have on Mamdani, which is everybody who comes and lives between cultures code switches. That's just what you do. Black Americans do it. With immigrants do it. Native, everybody does it when they have different things.
For white people, it's your customer service voice. That's the equivalent.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
This is
all very friendly, very civilized, and very dumb.
So sticking to Elon Musk, just to get through the news. So he could be
about
the first. Best joke we've done. Shareholders approved a new pay package that would basically give him about $1 trillion in extra shares, and contingent on that is that Tesla's market capitalization needs to grow to about $8.5 trillion over the next 10 years. And currently the most valued company is NVIDIA at around $5 trillion. So it has to get substantially bigger. But if everything goes to plan, getting all those shares available in the package would be equivalent to getting $275 million a day.
Oh.
Which is just such a mind-boggling number. It is just so hard to wrap around how big a trillion is, but that's just to give you an idea.
I mean,
sorry. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, and then I'll finish on like the other things he needs to do to get this.
Well, I mean, this is just such a indication of the very end days of all of this horrible, stupid system, because like it's making the Gilded Age in the 20s look pale by comparison. Look, Elon Musk pale. But let's also remember, and the upside to all this is that there's one report that he probably cost Tesla 1 million sales, 1 million cars less because of
just of that fucking salute.
Well, it's not just the salute; it's the ongoing Nazi-ness. Just keeping on Naziing. He can't stop Naziing. The salute was just one sign of it, and he keeps intervening in Germany to try and bring back Nazis in Germany, and Britain to bring Nazis in Britain, and everywhere, and just keeps talking trash. And his natural base of sales for Tesla, of course, are American liberals, and they're not buying it anymore. So he's at 90% in some countries sales year on year collapse because of it. Also, China's eating his lunch in terms of cost and quality. But it's also.
Man, I mean, a lot of Teslas are made in China,
right?
Oh, are they?
But it's BYD and the other Chinese manufacturers which are just taking his lunch. But it's also all the Naziing.
Watching Chinese electric cars, I was like, God damn! I wish we had some of those. They're so cool.
We can't.
The BYDs look so fucking. They look fucking awesome. It is interesting. And
from what I've heard, make you a cup of tea and rub your feet, and then give you some therapy while you're driving to work. Yeah.
I get my therapy from my Grok and my Tesla.
Well, okay, I wanted to go back to that a little bit. What is
okay?
Yeah, okay. Because
I guess we got to play the clip. But
yeah, what is the point of having Grok in your do you just drive around?
Well, there's settings. No, there's settings so you can have unhinged, where it's like super vulgar and spicy, and then there's like a medium one and a nice one. And
by spicy, do we mean racist?
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So. Usually people don't have it in unhinged, but the clip that was going around when he asked the child for nudes, because he was talking about soccer players. Listen, I don't know. He wasn't even in unhinged. So
let's
the mom.
Let's not anthropomorphize.
Right,
These are just predictive text
It
models
wasn't in
organized by
unhinged.
Yeah.
And the mom asked, shouldn't you only be saying stuff like that if you're in unhinged mode? And he said something like, I'm always unhinged. And then went off about how cool he is.
I'm very cool.
This is what I wanted to talk about, because in order to get the $1 trillion, he needs to basically put like a C3PO in everybody's fucking living room or whatever. And so they cost like $20,000. And he said, so the plan to get $1 trillion is to like go big on like AI robots, robo-taxis, but also the weird fucking humanoid robots, which you're going to talk about. I just want to quote him. It's I think it's going to be the biggest product of all by far. So, like, bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. I guess a way to think about it is that every human on Earth is going to want to have their own personal R2D2 and C3PO.
That's kind of Austin Powers meets Elon Musk. I like it.
So he even predicted Tesla's robots could replace surgeons. This is from a CNN article, by the way. Leading to the end of global poverty and reshape the world economic order. He claims that they could be produced for $20,000 each, allowing the company to sell them for about the price of a car. Well, man, not a price of the car these days.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think anyone wants one of these fucking Grok assholes just walking around and like.
I wouldn't. That's weird.
Can we touch on the him being a trillionaire thing again? Does anyone need a reminder about how large $1 billion is? Because I think we forget a lot of the time. Yeah. And apparently, if you put $100 in a bank account every single day from the birth of Jesus, which was year 0, I think. I don't know.
2025
so 2025 years of putting $100 in a bank account every single day is like 1/10 of a billion. Okay? That's a tenth of a billion. $100 a day for 2,000 years. So, yeah, anyways, what the fuck?
and that's 1,000 times.
1,000 times more than a billion is a trillion, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, well, because that's if it's a tenth of a billion, that's 100. That's 100 million.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So you need to 10x that to get to a billion,
and then you need to
and then you need to 1,000x that
to get to a trillion.
To a trillion.
I mean, it's just absurd. So, I mean, the good thing is everything Elon Musk promises is a lie, right? Mars robots, all his robots are being run by remote control. You know, probably we will have functional robots at some point in the next 10 years. You know,
what's the
I honestly do not
robots?
know. Yeah, what is because they're not good at manual labor, and the tech curve on them being good at manual labor is so much more difficult to surmount than like them being good at like doing anything cognitive, right? Because
I've only seen videos of them like smashing into mirrors and causing damage.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was
what's happening in Japan, because Japan's, you know, the
aging population
is you're starting to see it for elder assistance, and I think that's going to evolve. It's not going to be the biggest. It's not going to be what they're saying. I think they're going to play some role. They won't necessarily be humanoid. You know, automation is a thing, right? Automation is one of the ways we see it in factories where robots that don't look like people, and that's going to continue to evolve, and it will change things over time, as automation always has. Musk wants to be the first trillionaire, and he's a con artist. Fundamentally, man he's no different from Trump. That's why they get along so well most of the time. He's a con artist, and he just says random shit that he's going to make happen. And the only product he ever really invented, the Cybertruck, is the biggest failure imaginable.
It is surprising how that hasn't just completely distorted everyone's like view of him. People hate the Cybertruck, but like they're able to make the cognitive dissonance between the Cybertruck and every other Tesla.
And that's what but that's the one he was responsible for. Is the one that everybody hates is the only product he's actually been responsible for.
It is more. I think I gotta fact check this, but I think there's been cars in the past that were so dangerous they've been taken off, like the Pinto.
Yeah, like the Pinto.
Yeah. It's more dangerous than the Pinto.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
You know, all the reviews of people when it first was like put onto market, all the reviews were just people listing all the issues with it and then being like, this is the best car ever. This is the best vehicle that's ever been invented.
I'd
here's
see
like 50 issues.
Yeah, I'd see someone's like, yeah, like almost cut my finger off, but you know, like it's still a great truck. And it's like,
it's like every time I touch it, there's fingerprints, but it's awesome. It looks great. I have to just wash it every 20 minutes.
I am seeing the unpainted ones less and less these days, because I think anyone who buys one is just like, well, I guess I got to paint this myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen a painted one.
There's a few where I live up here in Salt Lake, because I live kind of, there's like the nicer part. I'm near it. So every once in a while I'll see a nicer looking Cybertruck driving around, and I'm just like, you fucking moron. Like, how much money do you have to just burn to buy the worst goddamn truck ever made?
Why did you buy this lot?
So I want to, let's go to the Conference of Parties, which is the climate. There was a new study coming out.
Which I found out that's what it was called last week.
Yeah.
Conference of Parties.
We all learned together.
And when we all, you know, all cops are bastards, well, so is the climate.
Isn't it run by like oil companies?
Well,
now?
this is what
Isn't
there's a new study. Research shows that more than 5,000 fossil fuel lobbyists were given access to the UN climate summits over the past 4 years, a period marked by a rise in catastrophic extreme weather, inadequate climate action, and record oil and gas expansion. So 5,000 oil lobbyists. And this is, we talked about last week, this 2024 was the hottest year in 125,000 years. Like, you've been doing climate work for a while. Like, you kind of get used to the fact that everyone's ignoring this fucking steam engine coming to run over everything. That 125,000 years and we're picking up speed. And this is when oil lobbyists, 5,000 of them, are given the complete unfettered access and allowing the last dying gasps of the death cult of fossil fuels to stop meaningful action from happening. You know, the scope of what needs to change is so dramatic. But over 5,000 lobbyists over the last 4 years to the place where we're supposed to be saving humanity from the climate crisis.
Cool.
Seems effective.
Yeah, it is effective. And, effective death cult work at the wrong things.
So then what is the point of COP then? If it's being run
by...
Many
people are asking.
So it's
public relations.
It isn't run, but they are increasingly becoming the largest. I think they are basically, if you count them all together as one group, they are the largest delegation.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a whole bunch of, it's every country coming together. You know, I don't know if the U.S. is sending anybody anymore, but it's supposed to be an international group of delegations coming together to discuss what the global community can do for the climate crisis. And this is where you got the Paris Agreement.
Yeah.
But now increasingly, and it's gotten worse over the last 4 years, the fossil fuel industry has really been ramping up what they've been doing. And it really hasn't helped that they put it in fucking petrostates for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Including the UAE and Azerbaijan. Now it's in Brazil, which is less of a petrostate, more of a meat state. So, you know, big agriculture is there as well. So
big cow.
Big meat. big meat is there.
Big meat, big cow.
We're going to see what happens when they meet. I don't know. There's something about meat in there. Anyway, there's a dick joke in there somewhere. I'm not gonna strive for it.
Dick
Cheney joke. Well, and when we look at like what's happening, speaking of Brazil, you know, hottest year in 125,000 years, Amazon lakes hit, quote, unbearable hot tub temperatures amid mass die-offs of pink river dolphins. Basically, the Amazon lakes and the Amazon, the lungs of the earth, one of the critical things towards all life on Earth thriving. Basically, pink dolphins are going to go extinct because they're getting boiled to death in Amazon lakes. And this is while these people. So this is when we get to, we need to kick the fascists out of office. We need to try and take power and do things. I'm increasingly convinced that whatever comes next is going to be the wheels are coming off this bus, right? The wheels are coming off the bus of colonialism and capitalism. It's just we need to that, and which is also where I think why things like getting city governments is so important, because we're going to need local solutions as the wheels fucking come off the bus, right?
Can I just say about the pink dolphins, that is tragic, but they also do terrify me, and they also look like one of the stages in between a human and a dolphin anamorph.
So you know, Hannah,
they look like something pulled out of a horse penis. They
do.
Thank you for listening to Doom Scroll Patrol. Like, comment, and subscribe to Undeniable Network for more content and to support our work.